So it says it's going live.
We've
Let's
landed.
hope we're going live. You're live. Okay. It says that we're live. Right.
Hello,
Okay, so we'll
everyone.
just give it a minute and hope that everybody can pick us up. Hello, 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 hello. Right, it seems to be it's on a little bit of a delay, but we'll just give it a couple of minutes. You're live. Okay.
Hey.
It's spinning. Right.
Hello,
Okay, so we'll just give it a minute and hope that everybody can pick us up. Hello. Right. Hello, hello. Can everybody hear us? If you could just write in the chat, guys, if you can hear us all well enough. I have to apologise for the sound, and there may be a little bit of trouble with the videos because I do apologise, but it has literally been 80-mile-an-hour winds in the valleys here in North Wales, and I have had to literally leave the house because we have a power out and come away and find a different connection. So if the connection is a bit shoddy, again, I do apologise, but people do seem to be able to hear us, which is brilliant. So at least therefore we are winning. So yeah, okay. So I'm gonna do a brief intro, but I think by now if you've been following the channel, yeah, these two guests need no introduction. I haven't got my camera on purposely because it's just slowing down the connection, but I might show my face if things cheer up connection wise. So, um, like I say, if you've been following the channel, then these two guys need no introduction. And if they did need one, it would probably come with a drum roll, a standing ovation, and maybe a spotlight or two. Needless to say, this live is shaping up to be nothing short of a clash of the titans. Well, hopefully not a clash, ideally more of a harmonious meeting of minds, a sharing of knowledge, and maybe some good-natured debate. Years of research, study, blood, sweat, and let's be honest, probably a few tears have brought us all to this moment. The truth is out there, as Fox Mulder famously said, but is it really? Or is it, as we've come to suspect, in here, in our hearts, minds, and occasionally in those late night internet rabbit holes? Truth may be subjective, and stories are the vessels for our consciousness, but the real stories, those that speak to the nature of this realm, are most definitely written in the stars. Look up, peer through the web of deceit woven by nations, and look within. As above, so below, as within, so without. At some point, we realise that this is all about stepping off the citizenship, the Argo Navis, ditching the Argo Navis, and becoming our own navigators back to the garden under the wandering stars. We are the decoders and the coders, the architects of our own reality, the Elohim, the black stars of the show, and what a show it is, seriously. So without further ado, I think we might have lost Stephen, Neil. I think he's dropped off. The connection is going to be pretty pants. So we'll carry on to the best of our ability, but it might be that we have to come back next week and do another one because I think we've literally just lost Steve and he's dropped off.
Ah,
I think there's been a lot of things happen today, and I don't want to get conspiratorial on everyone's asses, but I'm starting to think that maybe it's been done on purpose. Neil, are you there? Stephen,
I'm
I think
still
is just logging back in.
Steve's just got back in.
I'm back from aerospace. Get kicked off.
Oh, hello.
There's a
Yeah.
song in there somewhere.
Stephen's been kicked off.
I'm back, though.
Oh, he's back now.
Oh,
I should
Lindsay's
be.
here. Oh, hey,
Who's Lindsay?
he's back. He's back. Right. So everyone can hear us. That's the main thing. Hopefully everyone can see us. Maybe not. I'll switch you to speaker view. So, Neil, Stephen, it's amazing to have you here together. Like I say, this is a bit of a clash of the titans, like I said in the intro that I kind of bumped through, but not a clash, but a sharing of ideas, a meeting of minds. So we were just kind of talking off camera, and I know I was chatting with a few friends today about I don't know, is everyone feeling this heaviness outside, like this really heavy energy? I've been feeling it, and I was saying like just this, not like a depression, but just like a lull and obviously it's that time of year. And Stephen, do you want to kind of go into what we were just kind of talking about? And then Neil said something really interesting to add to it, and we
Yeah.
can kind of set this off
What
camera.
I've discovered is it's all about, everybody's heard me talking about the Argo Navi, yeah?
Mhm.
The Argo Navi is your citizenship. It's an asterism up in the sky, but at this time of year, In October, November, it starts to drop, drop, drop. In fact, there are 3 levels to the heavens, and the lower level at this time of year, September, October, you have the asterism known as the Argus Navi, you have the Eridanus, you have Cetus the Beast, and all these sort of things that are in the lower level. And this time of year, they start to drop. And the reason why they start to drop, it comes back to the biblical, the fall. Yeah, the fall. So everything began at the North Celestial Pole and everything fell down the levels. And what we're actually seeing just now is a negative energy that comes up as we're coming into the darker months because we're in the fall. We're all fell. This Argus Navi citizenship is your state citizenship. It's where we buy into this world of materialism. And it's the lower realm. And unfortunately, what happens at this time of year from September, October, traditionally, our ancestors would have looked at the harvest time of September, gathering the harvest to store up for the darker months of the winter. And this is all to do with the darker moments of your soul, and looking at the darker times of your soul when there's no sun. But the ancestors would have set up this, not set up, they just traditionally had this system set up where they would harvest the crops to store for the winter, because the winter was that bad that January, February, they needed to make sure that they had enough. But what's happened in the world today is we're not looking at the natural or looking at the tree or looking at the earth or Gaia or whatever you want to call it. We're not looking at the world as it produces or as we are the dominion, the masters over it, who should be making it produce for this time of year so that we've got enough substance. What's actually happening is they're focusing us our attention on materialism, which is what this season is all about, having enough to get by in the darker moments. But instead, they're making us focus on the corporate dead world and materialism. And with that comes the underworld, Tartaria, and the dead gods and the gods of the dead and, the legal fiction, which we're all living in. So, did anybody hear that, or am I just talking to myself?
Yeah, I heard every word of it.
There's like complete silence there. I was wondering what was happening.
Yeah, sorry, Stephen. I can hear. I've purposely muted myself because it keeps cutting in and out for me. But as long as everyone else is getting it, it's good.
Yeah. So that's what's happening. That's why I believe there's a negative energy. Everything's written in the constellations of the stars. So the sun and everything, not just the sun, everything drops below what we would call ground level or below Orion's belt. And with it, and as it drops, it's the story of Jonah, really. Jonah's told to go to Nineveh to preach the message of the word. And the word means logos, but the word is zavaot, which means command, which means heaven's armies in Hebrew. So Jonah's told to go and speak the word, what's going on in heavens, the heavens armies, but zavaot, heaven's armies, what's happening in the heavens. And instead, Jonah doesn't, and he ends up going down into the underworld, which is this period we're in now. And the underworld is getting on the ship, the Argus Navi, and going down from the opposite of looking up into the North Pole, the Polaris, which is the center of heaven. Did that make any sense?
I think Carlos just trips out.
Yeah, so we're going into these darker moments where the ship itself, the Argus Navi, which is an asterism up there, it begins to go down into the darker months. But everything in the heavens has fell down. So as we go down into the darker months, it stays down there longer, sort of thing. And that's what they plug into. They plug into this darkness or this heaviness where we go down into materialism and, accumulation, the accumulation time. But we're not accumulating natural products from the earth. What they've done is they've switched that for a corporate system. So that's why there's such an energy just now, because naturally we would be preserving what we had from the harvest, pickling it, putting it in jars, putting it in bottles and packets and whatever to get us through the darker months. But we don't have that anymore. We've lost that tradition. and the culture of doing that. But it's a season that's in the heavens. Everything's in the heavens. We look at the sky, the burning of Leo, which is to do with Sirius, the dog days of summer, and we say, right, time to harvest, pack it all away and store it up. And then when Christmas comes along, or what we call the time of Christmas, Santa from the north, or, you know, looking at the North Star and understanding the heavens would bring all the gifts, because we kept the order of the heavens from the North Star, looking at the navigational maritime world which we live in. But instead they've flipped it. Sorry, Neil, you know what to say? On you go.
I was just going to add to that bit when you said it was the dark, Samhain.
Samhain.
Yeah, well, Wayne translates to dark. So the
It
dark.
does. It does. Looking in.
Samhain literally translates to the dark. So it's the dark half of the year.
So it's looking into the darkness.
Yeah, for being like the short days of the year, the dark half of the year, the time where we all hibernate and.
That's what Samhain means.
Yeah.
Introspective, looking in.
Yeah, Wayne. Sa is the.
Well, the funny thing is Arthur's wheel is called the Great Wain as well, a Celtic word.
Is it?
Yeah. So the pole star's called Arthur's Wain, which is a Scottish word. The Scottish say a wain is a child, which is very important because Jesus said you've got to be like a child to enter the kingdom.
Yeah, was it King Arthur was also called the bear, wasn't it?
The bear.
Yeah.
Well, the Welsh word for or Cymru for art is art, means bear. Our Father who art in heaven. The
All
bear.
right.
The bear.
Every day.
It's a Brythonic word. Art means bear. I believe that's why we have the arts and crafts today. They're projecting from Arthur the Great Bear, the 7 arts and crafts. And there are 7 luminaries up there in the heavens. So
yeah, was it the bear that's surrounded by the 12 constellations?
The 12 houses are below the bear, yeah. There are 3 levels.
Where the King Arthur and the Knights of
the Round Table, yeah.
That story comes from. It's all astrotheology.
Yeah. But the 12 houses are actually in the middle section. See, what I've discovered is the 3 sections over the United Kingdom, and that projects out to the entire earth there. Because the United Kingdom is the tree of life. At one time, Ireland, I know you talk a lot about Ireland, but at one time, Ireland was connected to the land which we call Britain, and it was known as Atlantis. And then what happened is there was a disaster happened that broke everything up. But Ireland and Wales and Scotland have the same gods and the same traditions. That's what most people in the world aren't real. Every tradition and every belief comes from Scotland, Ireland, and Wales. Everything, not one, even Hindu, Beattie, Veda, everything comes from here.
Yeah, totally agree with that.
Because the tree of life is here. This is the tree. Well,
this is where everything was initially created.
And I've mapped the whole of Ireland. I can show you. Ireland's completely, Ireland and England and Scotland. I've mapped them completely, with the North Central Pole being the centre of Herefordshire in England. Ireland is just at Newgrange, obviously, and the word Tara means 3. It's a Greek word, but also it's Greek and Gaelic are both the same language. But the word Tara means 3. And the 3 are Scotland, which is Edinburgh, Tara, and London. And the reason why it's the 3 is because Orion's overlaid over the 3 of them, which I've mapped for years and years now. Orion's belt is the middle heaven. It's the material world, you and me, what we desire. But we need to get past the you and me, the material world. But Orion's mapped over Ireland, at Waterford in Ireland.
Yeah.
It's also mapped over in London. So you've got Orion mapped over the whole city. I don't know if you've seen my videos. I've got videos there showing the whole city of London is mapped out according to Orion.
Don't think I've seen that one.
You should watch that because the whole of London is mapped out according to Orion. Why Orion? Because Orion is Nimrod of the Bible.
Yeah.
Orion is the man standing towards the Taurus field, and he's standing up with his hand up with a club, the big club, but you're not part of it. And he's shaking that club at the Taurus field, refusing to go through the Taurus field. And immediately under Orion, you've got Regus, the heel of Orion, which is the heel of Yaakov, Jacob, he who grabs hold of the heel, Jacob, Regus. The heel of Orion is called Regus. And immediately under Regus, you've got Lepus, Lepus, the rabbit, which is the heir. You and I are the heirs of the covenant, the heirs, or the heir. So you can either go down the rabbit hole or take hold of the club and go through the Taurus field, through the Taurus, which is central Scotland, Orion, because Arran is Orion. What we call Arran today is named after Orion. That's because the constellation, all the standard stones are marked according to Orion.
Arran, the Isle of Arran.
The Isle of Arran, yeah.
That's Orion, is it?
Yeah, it's Orion.
It'd be interesting to see where Sirius lines up with that then.
Sirius sits just to the north, just above Mull.
Yeah, I'd just like to see it on a Google map. Let's say that's how I managed to find Hull Hill, by lining up Orion's belt with Thornborough Henge and then seeing where Sirius landed on the ground, which is why then Hull Hill is in the perfect placement for where Sirius is.
Where's Hull Hill? Where's that?
Hull Hill is in Yorkshire.
Yeah, Hull Hill. Yeah.
It's the same size as Newgrange. It's absolutely massive.
It's interesting, the word ho, usually associated with pirates.
Well, it's
or Santa even. Ho, ho, ho. Which is the Argus Navy ship. That's why I'm saying it. It's the
Hull Hill actually is really interesting because the village next door to it is called Dunholm, and Dun means hill and home means holy. So Dunholm means holy hill. Sirius is Satan, and Satan did battle with Archangel Michael, and the church right next door to Hull Hill is St. Michael's. So Hull Hill itself, which is the same size as Newgrange, is representative of Sirius. So then when you trace that back to Thornborough Henge, that if you were to get a star map and lay it on the ground, it literally matches up planet for star with these earthenworks that are on the ground. So I'm saying,
where exactly is it?
Yorkshire, North Yorkshire.
North Yorkshire.
Yeah.
The reason why it's North Yorkshire, Sirius, from my research, and not just my research, but other people's research, Sirius is not Satan. Cetus, the Kraken, Cetus is Satan. And the reason why North Yorkshire lines up is because Cetus sits over North Yorkshire. Cetus, the Kraken, the beast. Sirius is Orion's dog. Orion means or, the light of being. And the light of being is you. You can be the Nimrod. See, Orion to the Egyptians represented Osiris, the god of the dead. So the god of the dead is also the god of the living, and he stands on the barge over the ecliptic, and he is the god of the ecliptic, Orion. But his dog is called Sirius, and he's god of the hunt, Orion. And that's why Orion's placed in the heavens, because he boasted that he could kill any beast, which takes us back to the Enuma Elish, because any beast that he's talking about is the beasts of Tiamat and Apsu. There were 11 beasts created from Tiamat and Apsu, and Orion boasted against the gods that he could kill any of these beasts. And for that reason, the scorpion came along, stung him, and he was put in the heavens. Or the other story is that Demeter, who was his lover, fired an arrow and killed him. And she was tricked by her own twin brother, Apollo, which is important because the whole twin thing is part of this deception that we're under. The sun split in two. The sun was a twin, but Sirius isn't part of it. Cetus the Beast is Sirius. And the reason why you can map it in North Yorkshire is because Cetus the Beast or Kraken or Leviathan sits over North Yorkshire. And it will tie up. The stories will tie up because everything comes from the North Celestial Pole. So everything's mathematical. There are many people out there who are coming to realizations about certain things and saying certain things. For example, Saturn, the cube of Saturn, I think you've said that the cube of Saturn is Satan, or it's not Satan,
No.
but they're using an energy from that cube.
The cube of Saturn isn't Satan. That's just a coincidence that say is there.
The cube is actually the journey through the heavens, through Orion's belt. Sorry, not the cube or the Star of David. What we understand is the Star of... See, a way back, NASA gave us images of a hexagram on Saturn.
Yeah, late
They're
70s,
false.
was it? I seem to recall that. Was it late 70s?
Yeah, 70s that. But it's false because our ancestors, ancient people, believed the Star of David shape, the shape what we call it, or the hexagram. The hexagram was actually the journey through heaven. It's what we call the Merkaba or the chariot, the Merkaba, the chariot. And in Judaism, the Star of David is the chariot. So the whole idea of Saturn, Satan, the cube on Saturn is nonsense to keep us away from the pole star. The pole star is the cube. The pole star is the hexagram. The pole star over the United... I've got videos on my page. I've actually got posts showing over the United Kingdom that the Star of David goes over the central Scotland. It does. It goes over central Scotland.
Well, the Jews must have known about the hexagram on the top of
Well, the question is, who are the Jews?
the Jews.
What I'm trying to say is the hexagram was never connected to Saturn, ever. It was connected to the pole star. If you go to Mecca today, they have the cube, the Kaaba, which is the pole star. If you take the Christian cross and unravel the cross, it's a cube, which is the pole star. If you take the 7-branch menorah of Judaism, the 7 branches are the 7 perpetual lights of the circumpolar region of the heaven, which is known as the North Celestial Pole. Santa comes from the north bearing gifts. The whole world have fell away and they're chasing after the 12 houses. They're chasing after everything of this world, where our focus of creation should be the very center of heaven, which is the 7 branches or the 7 lights, which are Draco, Vega, Lyra, Ursa Major, Ursa Minor, Hercules. I've got another 2, I can't remember, Draco, and these are the 7 lights that never change. So all the religions are based around those 7 lights in the North Central Pole. And every single story will add up mathematically. You can come to any conclusion about Saturn. You can come to any conclusion about Mercury, Jupiter, Mars, and all the rest of it, because the mathematics comes from the North Celestial Pole. This is what I'm trying to show people. Everything comes from the cube at the North Celestial Pole. The cube represents Polaris, Greenwich Mean Time, and the whole world's controlled by the cube. It's nothing to do with Saturn. That's a diversion that they brought in later on so that we don't understand that the ancient civilizations knew that the cube was Polaris. When Polaris spins around the sky, it makes the shape of a cube over Aberdeenshire. And the Tuath Danann come from that cube, which is called the drum, Meldrum. Tuath Danann, the council or the circle, which is the circumpolar region of the heavens. They came down, the Tuath Danann, the dawn, which means the Adonai, the gods, the council of the gods. They came down, they fell, as everything has fallen through this realm. And this is what we're dealing with now. And what I'm trying to show people is we need to go back to the upper realm. What Paul talks about in 2 Corinthians, I think it's 12, he says the third heaven. That's where the throne of God is. The 12 houses and the houses below that, the lower realm, the Argus Navi, is where everybody is. They're in deception. They're in this circle of deception. But everything, including the cubes of Saturn and all the rest of it, comes back to the North Celestial Pole. Whereas, and that's what in Jeremiah 5 it tells us the reason why that you're demolished, the reason why you're torn apart is you go out to the beasts. Who are the beasts? The beasts are the 12 constellations, the 12 houses, and the 11 beasts that are in the sky, including Eridanus, Cetus, Draco, Hydra. I can't remember just now. There's 11 beasts in the heaven there, and everybody are either chasing the ecliptic, the 12 houses, or they're chasing the beast system of the lower world. But where we need to focus on, what the Bible talks about is in Jeremiah 5, the reason why you're being torn apart is you go out to the constellations, the leopard, the leopardus, the camelopardus. These are all creatures that are out there. These are fallen angels that are out there. And everybody's calculating time by the 12 houses, the lower worlds, rather than looking at what they're telling us. Greenwich mean time comes from the North Celestial Pole, but everybody's chasing this world of fictitious falsehood, where we should all come back to the 7 lights of creation, which never change, never ever change.
So, Stephen, I don't know if you guys can hear me. I've been having terrible connection problems, but if you can. So, in like a practical sense, this is like one of my thoughts. Like, so you talk about obviously like the lower realms, and obviously you've got like the legal fiction and it all, obviously it all ties in with everything that we know about that, and the bar in the heavens, like as above, literally so below. So if
The
we
middle level is the bar. The middle level,
the middle level is the bar.
the bar. That's the law, because Orion is the law. Sorry, Callie, on you go. Yep.
No, like I'm just trying to like piece it into my head for like me and other people. So if there's obviously this is where we get like the dog star coming from, you know, Orion's belt, etc., and this idea of the Draco, etc., and blah blah blah. So the Argo Navi is obviously it's a literal ship in the sky as it is like the middle realm of the bar. Is it? I mean, to get off the citizen ship, yeah. Is that obviously it's a literal thing in physicality as opposed to below, but do we physically have to have as in like a status correction away from them in like how everyone's chasing these status corrections and stuff? Or is it metaphysical? Is it our intent or awareness?
Physical.
Or is it both?
It's a physical place. Everybody's heard of the Library of Alexandria.
Right.
Well, Alexandria is actually on the River of Life. Britain is the tree of life, and halfway through that tree is a river of life, and that river of life is known as the fourth, and the Egyptians knew it as the going forth of day, or the Egyptian Book of the Dead, right? But the word going forth, the Egyptian book of going forth, is the River Forth, and the whole of central Scotland was the River of Life. And we would get off that ship at a place called Alexandria, and we would take our legal documents from the Puppis deck, because the Puppis, the Argus Navi is split into 3 parts up there. There's the Vela, which is the sail, which is the word soul, right? You've got the Carina, which is the crown, which is the body of the Carina is the corona, the crown, right? The lower crown. So the Carina is the body of the vessel, the Argus Navi. You've got the Vela, the sail, the Carina, the body, and the Puppis. Now, you go to anywhere today, any shipyard or anything, they'll have a part of the ship that's called the Puppis deck, and that's where they keep the records of where they've travelled. So the Puppis deck is every single part where you've moved under the pole star. Every single documentation goes into that Puppis deck. That goes to the Pope, the Vatican. The Vela is your soul. The soul goes to America. The sail, your soul to the corporate ships.
Mm.
The carina is the one who does the selling, which is the bottom part of the vessel, the hull of the ship. If you don't get off the ship at central Scotland, as it goes up in the heavens, I can show you on the heavens. I think I've done so many videos, but as the Argus Navy comes round in a clockwise direction, it reaches what we understand as central Scotland. Now, the spine of Albion is the tree of life, and it reaches central Scotland, Orion's belt. So it reaches what's known as the cross, the second cross. Down here, you have the crux beside the Argus Navi in the heavens, which is the cross of Jesus. Then you have the cross where Jesus is crucified, right? And then you have the cross in the heavens above, which is Cygnus's one. You go through this central Scotland where you are crucified to yourself. You go through the Taurus field, and the ship continues down and leaves. Now, this is the same story as Jonah and the whale, because Jonah, according to the Combs Beaumont's books, Joppa is ancient Leith in Scotland, next to Edinburgh, the port of Joppa. So the story that we get of Jonah, he gets on a ship, he pays the money, he doesn't even dispute it, he just pays the money, gets on the ship. Well, that ship's the Argus Navi. He goes down, and a whale, a whale devours him. A fish, a big fish. He then 3 days later gets spit up. Well, 3 days later, the Argus Navi in the heavens moves round, and it comes to Wales, Bristol, Tartaria. Now, we are told in the story of Jonah that Jonah was told to, with the word of the Lord, with the word means Zavaot, which means heaven's command. So Jonah was given a message from the Logos. Go tell the heavens command what's going on in the heavens. And Jonah went, oh, no, bugger me. I'm going to the pub. And he buggered off on a boat, paid as much as he could to get on that boat, which is the Argus Navi. He went down over Britain and came back up at Bristol, Tartarius, or what's known as Tarshish in the Bible, where copper and gold and Nicodemus, and the story of Nicodemus and who is it? Not Artemis, no, I'm getting mixed up now. Who is it? Jesus' uncle, down in Cornwall, and who's that? I don't know. But anyway, he gets off the ship there where Tarshish, where copper and tin and all that's traded, and he disobeys the Lord, and he stays on the ship. And that's the story about us descending into this material world, because citizenship, the Argus Navi, goes in a clockwise direction, whereas everything in the North Celestial Pole, Arthur, goes in an anti-clockwise direction. And so they have us going in this clockwise direction of materialism, which means all the time we're going down into this materialistic underworld, if that makes sense. Does it?
Yes, I think so. It's like anything, isn't it? It's a lot of information, and my sound is really bad. It keeps cutting in and out, so it's just really pissing me off, actually. So,
yeah, but that's what I was saying. And
I'm still trying to listen, but yeah.
That's what I meant to say as well. From September, October, the Argus Navi everything drops. This is the thing, when you look at the heavens, right? If you look at Stellarium software and you go back 10,000 years, honestly, guys, go and do this yourselves, right? Go and look at Stellarium software 10,000 years ago. Put in the date 9/11, right? And put in the Stellarium software. That's what I use. There's other software there, but if you put in the Stellarium software minus 10,000, right? You can go back minus 40,000, minus 50,000, but minus 10,000 is enough. What you'll actually see is what we understand is the 7 lights, which I mentioned earlier on. I'm going to mention them. I never mentioned them all, but the 7 lights that I mentioned earlier on, including Ursa Major, Ursa Minor, Draco, and all the rest of them, those 7 lights and the 12 houses, and then what we understand is the Argus Navi in that lower world, which is the tree of good and evil. Those were all together 10,000 years ago. So around about the age of, I haven't got my notepad. I think it was around about the age of Aries, about 8,800 years ago. What happened is that everything was together in the North Celestial Pole, and then suddenly the 12 houses fell, and the planets fell, and then the other realm fell. So what we're living in just now, and this is why you've got to change. I was saying to somebody the other day that the original pole was quite wide. So in Scotland, they mapped the pole from Inverness to Aberdeen, which is quite a wide area, 10,000 years ago. And then suddenly the pole is now only a small area in Aberdeen. It's circulating a place called a Boyne, and it's small. Well, what happened? Well, everything fell, and like an onion, or like something it's like, a friend said to me the other day, do you know those springs you get on the staircases? The toy things?
Yeah.
Well, when the spring pulls down, the middle part gets tighter. And that's actually what happened. The pole star covered the whole of Britain, the tree of life. But when everything fell, or when the fallen angels rebelled, and I can tell you exactly what houses they came from. When they all fell, what happened is that spring or that coil dropped, and it made the pole star circulation smaller. So the whole of heaven got smaller, if you know what I mean. And that is what I've mapped over Aberdeenshire. It used to be Inverness to Aberdeen, but now it's only Aberdeen to 5A Old Meldrum. It's a small circle, which is the gate of heaven, which is the cube, which we call, and it's not just that, the cube is projected down over Britain as a Star of David, giving us a journey through the heavens. So
Right. So this is where this kind of cube kind of in an essence comes from. I mean, I interviewed a guy called Logan Jason, and he did all numerology and gematria, and it's all like scripted reality, really.
yeah,
Like
I'm
of
into
the
gematria anyway. So yeah.
yeah, they say like narrative slide, but stories don't. But I suppose like as I've kind of moved along and got to this point, like with you guys, and just kind of like still, I mean, I was talking to my friend Lucy, and we were just like, yeah, we can get it to a certain degree, and then it's just piecing it together, because obviously we can't crawl into either of your minds. But yeah,
You can, it's inside your mind.
well, it's inside all of us, of course it is. Yeah,
Written
exactly. I mean,
inside your
I
mind.
feel it, and I get it. I get it. Having
It's
studied
the
the law
same, the
and understand
geometry, the
that.
mathematics. The
Yeah,
geometry and
exactly. Yeah.
mathematics of the heavens are written in you. That's why the Bible
Wow. Yeah, of course.
came into being, because the
Mm.
beings who wrote the Bible have that code within themselves. And
Yeah, yeah,
what we
yeah.
fail to realize is that the people of the Bible actually did study the stars.
Yes, yeah, of course.
So
So that's that kind of nature of it, the astrotheological, anatomical, and allegorical nature
yeah,
of
when we
it.
study the stars,
Uh,
it activates inside us. When
yeah,
we
well,
study the
yeah,
stars,
yeah. I
it
think so.
actually activates the code within us.
Yeah, I felt that. I mean, as a woman, having some feminine energy, and I also think that's a bollocks that men can't like, that men can't multitask. I don't believe all that shit, all those
No,
labels, all those things, all those constructs that they give us. It's all bollocks,
it
and
is.
that's basically what in my infinite wisdom, the spell says. It's all bollocks, except for obviously having come to this knowledge. I mean, my friend Shane's just managed to find me a copy of that Graham K. Griffiths book, Behold Jerusalem, which I'm quite excited about. And
Was it a
obviously, having met
PDF
Larry,
copy?
and
Is it a
no,
PDF?
it's an actual
Right.
copy.
I want
And
a PDF
obviously,
copy. I'm sure Larry sent me one, but I can't find it. So
yeah, I think Larry's on the live, and like I say, I do apologise for me not really being able to follow some of this stuff, because it's got a little bit better the sound now. It just kept cutting out, but like I've always said, it is something that you just kind of, it's something that kind of gets activated into you, isn't it? And I suppose like what I'm trying to kind of get over to people want kind of like we were talking, Stephen, like a practical kind of what do we do? Because it's
Yeah, what
like
the-
we're all starting to learn this. We follow you, I've
oh
followed Neil,
yes.
I've learned so much, and like what do we do, Stephen?
Well,
What do
I
we have to
believe
physically do something, or I know
no.
it's
I
activated in
believe
us with the codes, but
What did we do? What did we do?
What do we do? How do we get the fuck out of Dodge? Is my answer.
What we need to do, Callie, and I'm so thankful for all this that's happening so far, but what we actually need to do is put together a team. We do. We need to put together a team. And that team needs to look at the various sections of, law, spells,
Yeah.
everything. It all comes back to the heavens. I know there are many people who's like, oh, let's leave this alone, let's leave. But the heavens actually, before we were, the heavens were. So
Yeah.
everything comes from the heavens. And if we want to beat this, we need to bring everybody together and let them see the heavens, basically.
So it's literally kind of not, it's that simple, yet it's not simple in a sense, in essence, isn't it? It's always paradoxical, I think, like, it's kind of
Yeah.
simple, the answer, yet it's kind of not simple in another way. And like you say, Stephen, about this, the Argo Navy, like in that middle realm under the bar, which is the legal society, the bar society, the city, city of London, when we kind of remove ourselves from their fictions, from their narratives, from their nonsense.
How do you do that,
How
Kelly?
do we do that? Yeah, I mean, we're working on like status correction processes and just going, how do you do that?
Well,
I suppose
this is
that's
what
my
I'm trying
question,
to
like I
show.
say, is-
This is
yeah,
what I'm trying to show, but people aren't getting it. They aren't getting it. The
yeah,
Argus, the citizenship, the Argus Navi is the citizenship. There are three
yeah,
realms here. There are
yeah.
three worlds. Time comes from the North Celestial Pole. All time, all reality. The matrix that we understand comes from the North Celestial Pole. It
And
is
who's controlling that, Stephen?
It
Who's
is then
telling?
manipulated by the 12 houses, and then it
And
is
yeah,
then manipulated by the lower world, materialism. So what
right,
people
yes,
what
yeah.
people need to do is everybody's born in the 12 houses. What are you, a Gemini? Are you? No, are you?
I'm Gemini, yeah. What
Yeah.
are you, Neil?
Libra.
So you're Gemini, Libra, I'm Virgo, but we shouldn't focus on that because these have all fell. They've all fell down.
Yeah,
They're
so
out.
is that I call it the zodiacal wheel of time, and I suppose I'm trying to get it over for people who aren't as learned. Like, so this kind of I see this like these how is it how the houses fell? Is that kind of this kind of construct or matrix or hijack or trap that we're in because
Well,
it's dropped down and we've been put into this middle lower realm.
watch this. Can I
Yeah.
share the screen? Where am I?
Yes, let me just check it. Let me go into it. I should write participants share screen. Let me do it. Honestly, I'm doing this all from my phone now. Screen,
We're not,
start
we're not meant
recording
to
or
broadcast it.
casting. Oh
We
no,
really
that's
are.
in it. Oh, I know. I perhaps should have I just didn't want to cancel it, everybody. And in hindsight, I probably should. Because the signal is that shocking. I'm just trying to work out how I can get you to share screen now, from my actual phone. Share whiteboard, image from file. Oh, hang on, participants. Sorry, everybody, about this. Honestly, it'll be stressing me more than anybody else. Right, let me just click on you.
Yeah, yeah.
Make host. Right, I'm going to make you a host. Don't be scared, but that just means you can share screen. Go on, Stephen, you should be able to do it now.
What the heck are you? I can't even see anything. Okay. Can you see my screen?
No.
I can't see anything yet.
Okay. Do I need to go in and
Yeah.
change?
If
Um,
the bottom of the window, is there a green button called share? If you hover your mouse over the bottom of the picture,
Sonny and share. Yeah, I see it.
yeah, click on share.
yeah, should be able to do it now.
Um, it's not letting me in. It's not even letting me in.
Oh,
It's going to
I,
kick me
I,
off. I'm already get
I'm
kicked.
I'm pretty sure this kind of lower realm, these dropped houses are having fuckery with me today. Well, I think they have fuckery with us every day, don't they? Oh, Stephen's dropped off.
Stephen's gone. Yes.
I think we're gonna have to do this again where I can actually make any sense of it whatsoever because it's honestly all I'm getting sound of mine is but and then kind of causes. But anyway, Neil, what do you think to that? So, I mean, the thing is, I think it all ties in, doesn't it? It's such kind of like a complex picture and all the detail of it, like the detail that you go into with the language and the tuathas and then the way that how the slant that then Stephen puts that in. Between you both, you know, I genuinely haven't seen anybody else who gets the bigger picture. You know, there's a lot of people saying they have, but they haven't as far. But you know, truth is subjective. But it really is the study of the heavens, isn't it?
It's
I
not
definitely know.
subjective, Callie.
Is it
Not
not?
subjective.
I
Well,
get scared though. I get scared, Stephen, of telling people that we know the truth, else we end up sounding like our cakes, like we've got the truth. Don't
Our
let anything
cakes are
happen.
fud. Our
I
cakes
know,
are absolute fud.
I know. You know how I feel
Like,
about all that
the,
kind of stuff.
the
But
truth is not subjective. Never has been.
okay, I like that. Then
The
I like
truth
that.
is
That
written
gives
in
me
the heavens. This is why I'm so confident and so bold of what I say.
I love it.
Because I'm not right. The stones are right.
Yeah.
History is right.
Yeah.
It's a misunderstanding of the history. It's the problem.
Yeah.
It's a misunderstanding of the origin of creation that's the problem.
Yeah.
well,
The
you know,
biggest problem is the placed it over in the Middle East, and we're still trying to find where the centre is.
I'm going to say, you know why that came about, though, don't you?
Yeah,
We,
the
Rome,
Dracos.
well, basically Rome stealing Christianity and the Bible from Britain and then covering up all our history and building a circus tent out
Yeah.
in the Middle East.
Yeah,
Love it.
it all comes back to here. And anybody
Yeah.
that's listening, like that's all that matters. You are a descendant of Jacob here. You come back to here, these lands.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you're not
Yeah.
Irish, you're not Welsh, you're not Scottish. We were Cymry, we were Cumbri, the Cymry, the Cimmerians, who became
Is that where the Welsh like Cymru comes from? Obviously.
the Cimmerians.
Yeah.
We were Scythians. We came from ancient Scythia. But ancient
Yeah.
Scythia, I believe, was here.
Well, the Tuathas were the Sith.
The Tuatha were actually from Aberdeenshire.
Yeah, they were called the Sith.
I can show you that. I can show you that
But
Aberdeenshire.
they were called the Scythians, according to Neil's research, I believe.
Yeah, that's where you get the term the Scythians from. The Tuatha De Danann, one of the names for the Tuatha De Danann was the Sith or the She.
Yeah, which is sky.
Yeah.
They came
The
from the
sky
sky.
people.
The sky people.
Of
If you look here,
Well, it's the Isle of Skye.
am I able to share? Wait a minute.
Have you managed to work that out?
No.
I know. It's sorry, I do apologize. Like I say, it's because have we lost? Can people still see us? I can't even
get
on
into
here anymore.
oh, here we go. No, I can't even get into the full screen. There we go. There we
Right.
go. Oh, a minute. Right,
Oh,
okay.
you didn't.
Share screen. View. I guess it's up there somewhere.
Unable to connect to chat. Let's try that.
What am I pressing? Chat? No.
I'm in the chat now, but I'm gonna see if I can get back onto the laptop. It's just I was so excited about this and I still am excited. It's like, let me in, internet. It's just like driving me potty.
How do you share screen? Because I want to show you where the two are.
I've made you the host, but so you should be able to do it. But like I said, unfortunately, I'm having to do it off my phone because the laptop just will not pick up connection.
Right,
Steve, have you got the window open for the player?
yeah, I'm open now. I'm on full screen looking at it, so.
If you hover your mouse over the screen,
Uh-huh.
right in the bottom, in the middle, there should be a green button that says share.
I found it. Thank you, mate.
Click on that.
I've got it now. Right. Right. Who are the Tuath Danann that went to Ireland? That's what I want to show. And these things are written on standing stones. Is my screen being shared now?
Not yet. I'm still seeing a picture of you.
Okay. Let's go back up again.
You can download this chat.
The host isn't allowing multiple. Callie, what you doing? You're not letting me in.
Oh, I know. Honestly, I'm literally trying to punch myself in the face over all this. Like it's like driving me insane. Let me see if I can switch back.
Do you know what I'm trying to show people, right? What I'm trying to show people
have to
is they're
describe
chasing
it.
the entire world. They're chasing the entire world. But the entire world and everything that we understand comes from the North Celestial Pole. And the
Yeah.
North Celestial Pole is written on the spine of Albion, which you and I, all of us, have a share in. Ireland, Scotland, Wales, we're all branches of that tree. But the very top canopy of that tree, the very top branches of that tree, is where the Tuath Danann come from. And the Tuath Danann means the council, the ark, the archons. Yeah. So the archons of the Danann. De means God. Anan means Dane, the gods of Dana or Dane. So if you look at the Enuma Elish, you'll find that the Danu are an offspring of Tiamat and Apsu. And Apsu, the spine of Albion, the Apsu is in Aberdeenshire. ABZU. ABZ is the airport code for Aberdeen. And Balmoral sits within the Abzu, which is the primordial deep where all the primordial ancient beings come from, which is what we are fighting now, including Cetus the beast, which is Satan. And
Right.
but we can't understand this if we don't know the heavens. It all comes back to the North Celestial Pole, the Garden of Eden, and everything came from the Garden of Eden. So are you guys able to see my page at all now? What I'm
No.
sharing? No.
I can just
Okay.
about hear you. I'm going to see if I can connect back
Okay.
to the
Right.
laptop, and I might be able
So-
to do it from there. Bear with me.
Okay, instead of sharing it, right, what I'll do is I'll just read what I've got here, and then
Okay.
I'll try and explain what we're looking at. What I'm reading from is Jeremiah chapter 5, the King James Version of the Bible. Now, the reason why I'm reading the Bible is there are many people right now who are saying the Bible's a load of crap, or it's been written by them. It's not. The Bible is a celestial calendar. Every part of it is a celestial calendar. And what I'm going to read is Jeremiah 5 from the King James Version. And the pattern I'm interested in really is Jeremiah 5, verse 5, 6, and 7. But context is everything, okay? So we need to read this, and I'll break it down as I go along. Run ye to and fro through the streets. Now, the word street, we've been thinking street, a road, a street. But the word street is the ancient street that ran through Britain, known as Ermiston Street. Yeah? The old street that went from London all the way to John O'Groats.
Is that Watling Street?
Yeah, the old street, the old road, where Paul had his road to Damascus experience, right? Everything's in context, right? I can't prove this, but that's what it is, okay? So when it says, run ye and fro to the streets of the streets, it's talking about the spine of Albion, that long, straight street. Saint, the word saint, S-T, means street. S-T, saint, same thing, yeah. A saint is a street, a narrow way, yeah, in the Bible. And the word here, run ye to and fro the streets of Jerusalem. I can't share this, but it's Jeremiah 5. Run ye to and fro of the streets. So you've got this spine of Albion, Jerusalem. So the question is, what is the word Jerusalem? The word Jerusalem is Herishalayim, which means Hera. Her peace is the glory of light. That's what it means. Her peace is the glory of light, if you were to break it down. Run ye to and fro the streets of Jerusalem, see now and know and seek the broad places thereof. If you can find a man, if there are any that executes judgment, which is Libra, that seeketh the truth, and I will pardon it. And though they say the Lord liveth, surely they speak falsely, and they swear falsely. O Lord, are not thine eyes upon truth? Thou hast stricken them, but they have not grieved. Thou hast consumed them, but they have not received correction. They have made their faces harder than the rock. They have refused to return. Therefore I said, surely these are the poor, these are the foolish, for they know not the way of the Lord, nor his judgments of their God. I will get me unto them a great man, and I will speak unto them, for they have known the way of the Lord and the judgment of their God, but these altogether have broken the yoke and burst their bonds. Wherefore then a lion of the forest, which is the Caledonian forest, Leo, and Sirius, the heat of the day,
Wow.
Sirius. Wherefore the lion of the forest, Sirius, because Sirius is brighter in Leo than the summer, dog days of summer, yeah. Wherefore a lion of the forest shall slay them, and a wolf. Who's the wolf? Who's the wolf? Anybody? Who's the wolf? Are you still there, Neil? The wolf and the
who's the wolf?
evening shall spoil them. The leopard shall watch over their cities, and every one that goes out from the north celestial pole shall be torn to pieces. Every one that goes out shall be torn to pieces, because their transgressions and backsliding
Right, by the beasts.
have increased. So what I'm trying to show here is the north celestial pole, as the Bible says in Jeremiah 5. The reason why we're devoured is we chase after the media, the world. And there's 7 lights in the heavens that stay
Yeah, yeah.
the north celestial pole, the 7 lights of a menorah of Judaism, the 7 circulations of Islam. They go round it 7 times and they throw 360 stones at the cube. What is the cube? The cube is the north celestial pole. And it goes on
Yeah.
in Jeremiah, how shall I pardon you? How shall I pardon you? You have fell away from me. You have forsaken me, the north celestial pole. Right? You have sworn by them those things that are not gods. They're not gods. I have gave you to the full. I gave you everything. But yet you have committed adultery and assembled yourself in troops with the houses of the 12 houses. So everybody's chasing the 12 houses. Everybody's chasing the lower realm below the 12 houses, below the ecliptic. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm saying? And Cetus, the beast, is one of the beasts that's in the...
I think so. So the 12 houses, Stephen.
Why did God call 12 tribes of Israel? Why did Jesus call 12 disciples? Why did he not just let the 12 tribes get on with it? Why did Jesus just not let the 12 houses get on with it? He called them in and said, no, you're out of order here, guys. The 12 houses are out of order. Judas, all of you are out of order. You're out of order. You rebelled. Up there is the centre of time. The whole world goes by the Greenwich Mean Time. Pole star. Up there is the centre of time. You're chasing the whole world and all its spirituality and all its nonsense and all it. Like, why was Jesus fishing on a boat? Why was he always on a boat? It's the Argus Navi. The point I'm trying to make is we need to get off the Argus Navi at central Scotland and say, fuck you and your system. I'm going north to the North Celestial Pole, to the Garden of Eden. Where the creatures don't devour us, where the camelopardus, the leopard and the beast don't eat us, where the Leo...
Stephen, do we have to physically go? I mean, I'm confused because
yes,
get all the principles. We have to physically go north. I mean, I've always obviously I am northern. Neil's northern. I mean, you're extremely northern, being Scottish. Like obviously at this point, like do we have to like physically, like you say, like our ancestors would have moved with the stars, followed the heavens?
yes.
We have to kind of physically go back to the
Remember,
north.
Callie, you said to me about gypsies. Remember the word gypsies? The word Egyptian. The Egyptian weren't a people. The Egyptian was a philosophy. The Egyptians travelled around the stars, around the tree of life, which is the spine of Albion. And where were they going? At this time of year, where were they going? To the north, where the sun never dies.
Wow. Okay, so we're all in with Stephen.
I was saying to a friend of mine that the reason why they've done the Highland clearances is because when they moved everybody away, we are God, we are the Elohim.
Yeah.
So when they moved us away, they took the energy and the sun away. And that's why everybody goes abroad, the broad way and the narrow way. There's a narrow way. And if
Oh,
we all stayed on the narrow way, then the climate would change. We'd end up back in,
right.
because
The
we're in the,
garden.
yeah, because we're back in Aquarius.
Yeah.
Change now.
Right.
And we all
Yeah,
came
yeah.
home. That's why asylum seekers, I mean, the Irish are kicking up a stink and have been for a long time. Fair dues to them. They do deserve to be annoyed the amount of immigration that's coming. Aberdeen, Dundee, and all the rest of the big cities throughout Britain are just the same. They're full of asylum seekers.
Yeah.
But the reason why is because they're all coming back to the tree, just as the Bible said. The Bible's very true.
Wow.
He's coming home back to the tree.
Yeah.
They don't know it yet. And this is where people who are
Yeah.
kicking up a stink against those who are coming back, they shouldn't be angry about those who are coming back. Because the reason why they're
Right.
coming back is because they're coming back to the tree. We're in the time of Aquarius and everybody's coming back to the tree.
And Stephen, just out of interest, like because obviously we have an awareness of this and we're all kind of studying it and realizing we need to, like you say, look up and study the heavens and the constellations are literally in our landscape and all of this amazing
The
like
land is actually the same shape of the constellations as
yes,
Larry would tell you.
of
Larry
course, yes, yeah.
and Graham Griffins.
So
Why
so
did our ancestors reconstruct the British Isles in the shape of the constellations?
why did they exactly? Because aren't
Why
we
did
standing on the back of giants, aren't we? These
yes?
petrified
Why
titans of
did they
old,
not
like
do it in Scotland? I've had this conversation with Larry as well, and hopefully he's watching. Why can we not
oh,
find
no,
all the constellations written in Scotland? Why are they only in England and Wales and Ireland?
yeah, why is that?
Because this is the head of the body.
The head.
And
So
the
it's the
North
body is the
Celestial Pole,
constellation.
the constellations are the 12 houses and everything that fell. Whereas the North
Oh, right. So that's the
Pole,
right. I
Scotland's
see now. Right.
stagnant. It never moved. Scotland never fell. That's
Ah,
why they rewrite the
right.
history.
That makes more sense now. Right. Okay. Now I understand. So sorry, the upper, middle, and lower realms aren't in Scotland. They're England, Wales, and Ireland. Have I
Which
got that wrong?
represent the ecliptic, the 12 houses, everything that fell. See, when we read the book of
Right.
Jude, we've been led to believe that the wandering stars are the planets. The wandering stars are not the planets. Because when you look at the book of Jeremiah, which I just read, it tells you that the harlot is the houses, the 12 houses. So what we
Yeah.
understand is the 12 houses of the zodiac, which move through the ecliptic, they also fell. So
Right.
anybody that's looking at the ecliptic and looking at the horoscopes and looking at, a solution within the ecliptic, the 12 houses, and any of the beasts and any of the creatures that are in that
You
portion of
ain't
the sky,
you ain't finding it there. Like no.
you'll find it. You'll find it because the code of the mathematics comes from the
Right.
North Celestial Pole. So it doesn't matter what
Right.
you could be in Christianity, Judaism, Islam. You'll find the code. It'll fit. Of course, it'll fit
Yeah.
because it all comes from the
Yeah.
North Celestial Pole. But if you're not looking at the center of heaven, to the north, the kingdom of the throne of God, which the Bible says, if
Yeah.
you're not looking at the throne of the north, then you can come to any conclusion because it's all mathematics, it's gematria.
And it is like, that's why I've studied that kind of scripted reality and it really does
It's a
doeth
pyramid
fit
scheme.
us.
It's a
Yeah,
pyramid game.
yeah.
It's the top of the
Yeah,
pyramid
yeah,
all
the
the way down.
numbers.
So the code will
Yeah,
be
yeah.
all the same. And people who have any theory, like what's his name, Jason Archaic, who just spews out information. His theories will fit because, and
Yeah,
everybody's
sure.
theories will fit. Like I was deceived for a long time. I was deceived in the flat Earth. I was deceived on lots of stuff, the common law, because it all fits. Because it all
Mhm.
comes from the North Celestial Pole. Everything is projected from the North Celestial Pole down. And it's filtered down and filtered down and filtered down and filtered down. And there are 3 levels, which I'm in the middle of doing a post just now about the Matrix, the film The Matrix. The main character is
Yeah.
Neo Cortex. The brain is 3 parts of the brain, the
Mhm.
reptilian brain, the lower brain, the upper brain, and the middle brain. which is exactly what's over Britain, which I'm trying to show people. You've got the reptilian brain, which everybody's still caught on, the neocortex. There's a Trinity thing in the movie. And
Yeah.
everything in the movie is green. The reason why the Matrix movies are green is because the green is to do with the heart chakra. And the heart chakra is to do with alchemy. And the heart is alchemy, Mercury, Mercury Trigavis, and all that kind of stuff, where you move from, you're bonding the male and the female, the triangle that points down and the triangle that points up to create the Star of David, to create the male and female. So the whole Matrix movie is about this 3 realms. I'm in the middle of doing a post video about that.
Well, it's interesting as well, Stephen, that obviously they call the Zaga, I can't remember the name. There's a Zakowski brothers or something, and now there's Zakowski sisters as well. There's that inversion, isn't there?
Yeah, it's the girl that's done the new one, yeah. And the reason why they've done that is because the brothers were twins, and this goes back to what Neil talks about. Sirius.
Again, yeah.
On all the standing stones, you'll see that the sun came down, or a meteor came down, and it's split in 2. Well, what I actually believe, I think it is actual fact, the sun Sirius was the sun, and our present day sun was the sun, and it was a twin. And somewhere in history it split in the time of Gemini, in the age of Gemini.
Right, the twins.
And it hit what we understand as Cetus, Sirius, Cetus the beast. It hit Cassiopeia, which is to do with vanity. And it destroyed the whole of the east coast of Scotland, the southern coast of Britain, and the west coast of Scotland, which created what we call Noah's flood. But the actual sun splitting in 2 is Sirius. The idea of Jesus being a twin is, the Nazis were interested in twins. And all civilization, if you look at it, you've got Apollo and, who is it? Apollo and who kills Orion. It's all twins. All the gods are twins throughout history. So what I actually think, and the gods represent the sun deities. So what actually happened in the age, what I believe, what happened in the age of Aries, which was, 4,000 years ago, is the sun split in 2. Sirius and our sun split in 2. And so you have the sun behind the sun, which is Sirius. And that's what we're living with. But more than that, we're also living with all these creatures that came from Tiamat and Apsu.
Yeah. So Neil, people are saying, what do you think to this? Obviously, you come at it. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Sorry, I know the sound is terrible. I keep moaning, but because obviously I'd like to open it up to people on the chat and they can ask questions, because obviously with your study and your research of Sirius, so you just said, if I got it right as well, Stephen, because my sound is intermittent. So you were saying that Sirius was the original sun. Oh,
the sun, our sun, yeah, our sun and Sirius were a twin, and Jesus was a twin.
Jesus was well. That was one of the things that I always found confusing in
and that's the mystery of all this. It's the duality.
Yeah. Well, again, it always is, isn't it?
Ascension, or the alchemy is uniting the male and the female.
Of course. Well, becoming whole or holy, isn't it?
And that happens in Orion. Orion represents, I'll be the man, I'll be the male, I'll stand up. I'm not going through the Taurus field. Whereas when you go through the Taurus field into the Ramoses, the Aries, which is Edinburgh, you go through Gemini, and the Gemini is Gemini is Romulus and Remus, and it's the splitting of 2. One has to die, of course, in Romulus and Remus story. One dies and one continues on, and that death is the death of the first Christ, the first crucifixion on the Southern Cross as you leave the Arcus Navi, and then the second crucifixion Orion's belt, and then the third crucifixion, which is entering the kingdom of heaven, is up at Cygnus Swan.
Yeah.
So you've got to, it's what the Celtic people call
awesome.
three maidens or the three Bridgets, the three virgin. And what Jesus said is, you've got to come to me as a little child. So he wasn't talking about coming to him as a little child. What he was talking about is what the Celtic people seen it as, you have to come as the young virgin, then you have to come in Orion's belt as the maiden or the woman, and then you have to come as the old hag, which is all mapped out in Scotland, because as you come to the north of Scotland, you get all the stories are on the standing stones, basically.
Yeah.
They are.
Awesome.
They're all on the standing stones.
So we'll chuck it over to Neil, because obviously Neil's been very, very quiet, as have I, but mine's honestly, I do apologise. I'm really struggling. It's not clicking and it's not following for me. So I'm really doing my best at my end to try and follow. But Neil, so we've
Sure, the
kind of
people will
discussed.
be
Let
happy.
me. Yeah, no, Stephen, you know me. We could all listen to you for absolute hours, but it's amazing to like kind of Neil see what Neil thinks, I suppose. I mean, obviously,
We
I
need to
followed
get
both.
together, guys.
Okay.
We need to
Yeah, we
get together.
definitely
We need to
do.
sit.
We definitely do. And Larry said that earlier, because Larry, I'm sure he won't mind me saying he'd not been too well. Because we were going to do a live event, weren't we, where we all got together and talk about this, and I don't think Neil was overly keen. Neil's been a very reluctant YouTube star. To be honest, so have I. I never intended to, be a podcaster at all. My study was the law.
Callie,
I've got the law degree, and my study was just the injustice of what was happening in front of me. And I thought I'd been awake for a long time, but no, I didn't know anything.
Callie. Many people who will be joining this conversation will be thinking, wow, this is great. We'll all this information, but how do we deal with it?
Gone again.
How do we deal with this legal system? And I know the law in the heavens. I'm not just saying I think I've got it. I know the law, and what the law comes from
honestly,
is the Egyptian journey of the Duat, the underworld, the living and the dead. And if we can get the right people together, and I hope people are listening at this point, if we can get the right, I don't just mean people who know certain things. I mean people who have been on the journey for a very long time, who are looking for the final solution.
Neil's like me now. I'm having a beer and a cig.
We need to pull these people together, because we can actually. We can end
I do believe that. I that's obviously my it's not even an angle. I don't have an angle at this point. I genuinely want people to be aware of this and to connect those dots. And if we can kind of get the right people and the right minds together, like Neil, like you, like Larry, like the last blue ball that we're doing the law with, the great people.
I have my own struggles with the law, with the legal system. Yeah. So from 2014, I've been examining everything that I study with the intention of, how do I see my children again? How do I overturn this?
A big one for men that
that's my drive.
Up, they've been screwed over by the system, especially over children.
Yeah.
That system's got to be illuminated, and it's got to be shown what it is.
What I've discovered has been. I said to you in one of the first recordings, I stumbled on a miracle, and I have, because I asked for a solution to deal with the problem that I had with the social services and the authorities. And I was shown everything about the legal system, but I know everything in the legal system in the heavens. And that is what I've had a warrant out for me for 5 years, but they will not call me in because they're terrified of me. I've been 40 times stood in front of the court, and they throw me every time. 40
I can't
times.
imagine why.
I know now more.
Right.
than
Okay. So
I ever
let's
knew.
let's take this down as well. You know, I'm supposed to be the hostess with the mostess,
This
and
is the
I
point
I
I'm trying to
am,
make
like
to
I say,
people.
I am
Like,
really struggling at this end because I can't hear stuff. I do apologize. I keep apologizing. We're gonna have to do this again where I can actually hear stuff. So if I'm being a bit slack on the hosting, it's because it's so intermittent the sound here at my end. But I want to bring Neil in because obviously, you know, there's a huge crossover between both of your works. So I'd love Neil to kind of hop in and just see, just you know, say what your thoughts are really so far, Neil. Because obviously, you know. Stephen, it's so much information, and a lot of people come away from this going, what? But most of the people that are listening have followed the channel, followed Stephen, followed Neil. So yeah, what Neil, the floor is yours.
Yeah, again, the whole subject is that massive and goes over
is.
such a long period of time.
Yeah.
It's sort of my work with Ireland, Atlantis, etc., probably only overlaps with Steve's work by about 5%. Most of his work is Scotland 2,000 to 3,000 years ago and moving forward from there. So some of the conclusions that we all come up with are going to be different conclusions. Firstly, I'd like to address one that I've just seen fly by, Hiram Abiff. I'll just see it. Jimmy.
Hiram Abiff. I can explain that.
Yeah, Jimmy, Hiram Abiff. This is actually
Explain that in Central Scotland.
Um,
All happens in Central Scotland.
Well, it comes from modern masonry. Now, modern masonry isn't the original masonry. Modern masonry was created by the Vatican in 1717. Original masonry comes from Ireland thousands of years before that. So,
Inverness, actually. Matheson's.
Well, it originates Ireland and then Scotland thousands of years before this modern masonry was created. This modern masonry today, this 1717 created in a pub in London, is just a Jesuits Vatican creation to cover up the original reason why the Masons were created to start off with. But if we go back to Hiram Abiff, that's in modern masonry. So the story behind Hiram Abiff is that he built the first temple at Jerusalem, and he was a Phoenician, and he built it for Solomon. So that's the Masons' story of who Hiram Abiff is. So firstly, if we go back to, where's Jerusalem? Edinburgh. So Hiram Abiff built the temple in Jerusalem, which was at Edinburgh. So Hiram Abiff was a Phoenician. If you're following my work, then we'll know that a Phoenician is a Phoenician, so he was Irish. Now, if we go back to the Irish Phoenicians, who was the mason for the Tuatha De Danann? Well, that was Goban-Swa. Well, Goban-Swa was the Tuatha De Danann's Freemasonry, and he wrote the Béla Lagaire, which is the secret language of the Masons, which is only spoken by the Masons and the Irish Tinkers. So that's who Hiram Abiff is. He's actually an Irish Phoenician, probably Goban-Swa from the Tuatha De Danann, who built the first temple in Jerusalem at Edinburgh. So that's your answer for who Hiram Abiff is in modern masonry. In the original stories, is actually Goban-Swa.
What does Hiram Abiff mean?
I've not actually done a
What does Har mean?
I've not done a breakdown of that name.
Har means the high place, the mountain. Abiff means of my father.
Yeah, but it's only the word Hiram Abiff is only comes from.
Where is the mountain of my father? Polaris.
Yeah, but that's a modern. Hiram Abiff is a modern name.
Har means mountain in Hebrew.
Okay.
Abiff means Abi, my father is in Hebrew. Hiram Abiff means my father is the mountain of the Most High. That's what it means.
Yeah.
Which means the pole star.
Yeah, in the modern version of what Masonry is.
No, that's what they know. they know that the pole star is Haramabith.
Yeah, I'm breaking down the story. The story is Hiram Abiff built the first temple at Jerusalem
It goes to Polaris.
for Solomon, and I'm just breaking down Hiram Abiff is a
Yeah.
Phoenician.
Well, I think what we should do is, I think it'd be interesting because obviously the live is about as well, like where people can ask questions. Because I know I've still got a couple left. So I know there was a lady earlier who asked a question if she wants to type it again. And if anyone wants to just like type a few questions, whether it's directed at Stephen or whether it's directed at Neil, I mean, I'll start with one whilst we're waiting for some questions to come in because I wanted to ask you, Stephen, particularly because I know I had this as a bit of a, I wouldn't say like a dream, but we were talking about how the Romans came and slaughtered the Druids, and I think you said that
Yeah.
we kind of created
They're
because
holding up the
obviously
heavens.
we are the yeah, and the Druids were holding up the heavens or holding up the dome, and I'd had that as a little bit of a vision. You know, like you were saying about we've got these codes in us, and it keeps coming to me in ways that I can't kind of explain fully. But what was that fully about? Could you kind of like expand on that? Because obviously you said I think you said we were holding up the dome to protect us from the negative elements of the archons, because obviously it's that duality. There's a positive and negative to like Saturn, Jupiter, etc., etc., etc. So what were we doing
Well,
as druids then? And that's why they slaughtered us. Is that why then they could then take the hijack and everything fell, or it fell before then? I'm a bit kind of shoddy on that.
well, the thing we need to look at is the standing stones. The standing stones are always on a mound, on the slope of a valley, and usually an old waterway is down on the valley, which was much higher. The waterway was much deeper before. But what we're actually finding is all the standing stones are mapping a route through the spine of Albion. Every standing stone is mapping a route through the houses up to the pole star, the very center of heaven. Every single standing stone. And all the standing stones are sitting on a raised mound. The waters have all been drained away now, but at one time there used to be water in these massive valleys. Does that answer your question? That's what you're.
Yeah. So does that, Neil? Does that go into
But
obviously
it
you've
represents the
discovered what
heavens above. It's a reflection above. Every single
Yeah.
waterway, more or less every large waterway we have in Britain is representative of one of the 11 beasts in the heavens. So you've got the Eridanus, the Cetus, the Draco, the Hydra, the Hydras. These are all what we understand as rivers. The River Eden at the border, the River Oms, the River Tyne. All these rivers are ancient constellations in the heavens. The waters are gone now, but they did at one time there were deep valleys full of water, all the way up
Yeah.
Britain. And that was a pilgrimage. We'd go through these waterways all the way up Britain, through all these waterways until we got to the crown, the corona, which was the very top, the pole star at the top. Because the
So
very
did they? So these mounds, obviously, because everything was waterways. It's like what did the Romans ever do for us? Build us roads, give us drainage, blah blah blah. But if Neil's research with How Hill, these mounds were man made. Then we made them with
we
these
made
standing
them.
stones because
No, actually, we didn't
every
make
like
them. We didn't make them.
oh
They were made according to the
they
heavens.
were they were made. So they were made like they came up like in Labyrinth when Ludo
Yeah,
just goes
as a
whoa frequency and they
signpost.
came up.
So from the
Mm,
bottom of the spine of Albion, which starts on the Isle of Wight, at the tower at the very bottom of Isle of Wight, there's a mound. I can't remember, Bradford Tower or Broadford Tower, Broadford, I think it's called, tower on the Isle of Wight. In the very south, it's a very big mound, and on it's an obelisk on that mound. That mound was created originally by the source, the creator. And all the way up the spine of Albion, so you've got the Tor at
yeah.
Glastonbury
So
Tor. These were all made, and then you get to Arthur's Seat, you get to Whaley Bridge, and there's a mound there. You get to Arthur's Seat in Edinburgh, there's a mound there, and then you get to the very top known as
I
top
mean,
of the north.
these are like you say, the facts because they're written in the heavens, aren't they? Like a lady's saying, are we getting facts or mythology? But like you say, the standing stones are telling us, and it correlates with this with the
Well, the
heavens, doesn't it? I mean,
standing
let's
stones
go to
came
some
later.
questions,
These
Stephen. Not, I
mounds
don't want to
existed.
interrupt, like, but
Yeah. No,
right
yeah, on you go.
before
These mounds existed from
Hentor
then the
Hill, I
standing stones.
suppose, at Dunholm, like that Neil's discovered, and the work that Neil's done there with
Well, the
that.
word done means Dan. The word Dan, done home, means judgment of the house.
Yeah.
Dan means judge.
Right.
The Tuath Danann are the council of the judges. They're the one who judge the world. This is why we're under a legal term, legal system.
Right.
Because the Tuath
Judge.
Danann
Yeah.
are the ones who came from the Meldrum, the North Pole star. They came down. They were the law of heaven. And they came down to Ireland. Then they came down to London, London, the Tuath Danann. And they came and brought their laws with them.
Yeah.
So
The
we're under
bullshit.
the laws of Dan. Yeah, the bullshit, yeah.
Yeah. The
Bullshit laws.
Lundan. The Lou or Lou Dan, as Neil
Yeah.
taught me. So right, let's go to a question. Because I think Neo wanted to ask, bear with me, let me go back. So Neo the one said, question for Stephen. Where is the north where the sun never dies? Going back to what you said earlier. Where is the north where the sun never dies? I don't know if that makes any sense. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Where is the north? You're asking me where the north is, where the sun never dies.
Yeah, I
Tuath
think that's what
Danann.
Neil wanted. The Tuatha De Danann.
The North Central Pole is where the sun never dies.
Yeah. So yeah, it all goes back to the North Celestial Pole. Well, and a few people are wanting Neil to speak, so we better let Neil have a word in. Jackie, don't leave us. I know. Me and Stephen can talk forever and ever, but let's get Neil in. What do you think, Neil? Talk about maybe how Hill and Dunham. I mean, that was like a big kind of revelation when you discussed that on the channel as well.
Well, again, back to dun, mean in Old English means hill. Home means holy. That's in Old English.
What does whole mean? To judge.
Home, holy.
No, whole. If you understand what it's a concept, so it's a place of a hill, a judgment. It's judgment, where everything's whole, held, whole, whole. Where you all everything together. Where everything's wholly understood.
Oh.
So it was a place where they judged the local tribes.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, okay. Well, let's let Neil have his minute, and then we'll get back to what we think. I know, Stephen. I know, and I'm struggling to hear. So this is like it's like comedy hour. This last 10 minutes, me going, oh, ooh, what? Okay, because if I could actually hear, that would be good. But yeah, I mean, there's lots of different interpretations to the words, isn't it? And we know how important the words are. But
yeah, but we need
I suppose if we just like yeah, let Neil kind of yes, of course. Of course.
Well, again, this is where our works completely clash. I mean, you were talking about Tara before. The word Tara broken down, Ta means home or house. So Ta-Ra means house or home of the sun god Ra.
Which is three. The Trinity.
Ta and Ra.
The circle, the square, and the triangle. The three combined.
Yeah, go on, Neil. Go on, Neil.
Carry on.
Yeah. Go on, Neil.
I'm just giving an alternate explanation of the words that some of the words that you've been using. Ta means home or house. Ra is the sun god. So Ta-Ra is the house or the home of the sun god Ra.
Neil, you're still thinking on a celestial level. You're still thinking on a celestial level. You are. Because...
And by celestial level, what does that mean?
You're examining... Well, like I said, everything's mathematical, so it all comes from the North Celestial Pole. So if you look at the whole of creation, you're going to get this triangle, this pyramid, and everything will mathematically fit. but we need to look at the North Celestial Pole. Who is Ra? What is Ra? What
Well,
is Ra? What is Ra? Light. Where does light come from?
yeah,
Doesn't come
that is
from
a
the
good,
ecliptic.
interesting question because I've got quite
Doesn't come
confused
from
at
the
that.
ecliptic. Everything comes from the North Celestial Pole. Every single one of us are born from the North Celestial Pole. So the entirety of the heavens are not based on the celestial, the ecliptic, the ecliptic, sorry. And that's where everybody, including, sorry, yourself, are also coming from that interpretation. It will fit because the mathematics comes from the North Celestial Pole down into the 3 levels, the trinity of the matrix.
Well, again, I was talking about the Trinity to someone the other day, and where we keep seeing these triple spirals and everything. I've got that relating back to Sirius A, B, and C, of where your Trinity comes from.
I don't.
You're allowed your opinion. I actually have a question for you. When you were talking before about the constellations and the 12 tribes of Israel, are there 12 tribes or are there 13? Are there 12 constellations? Are there 13?
It doesn't matter. That's the point I'm making. The ecliptic are the 12 houses. That's where we've
Are
been.
there 12 houses or are there 13?
We are supposed to fix on the 7, as all the religions do. The 7 lights, the 7 menorah, the 7 lights of menorah, the 7 circulations of the Kaaba, the 7 ascensions of Veda, the Veda texts. They're all focused on the North Celestial Pole, whereas everybody is focused on analysing this world from the ecliptic, the 12 houses, and the area that we understand as Orion, the rebel within us.
You're talking about the number 7. 7 comes from the 7th heavenly star, which is also Sirius.
No, it comes above.
Yes.
No, it doesn't.
Well, the 7th heavenly star isn't called Sirius.
No. Everything that created came from the North Celestial Pole. Before Sirius was ever even formed, the North Celestial Pole were the 7 heavens. Before the ecliptic and the 7 houses, and any of the houses were ever created, Sirius never existed. All that existed was the North Celestial Pole and the 7 lights. Then the second part of creation are the houses, including Sirius and the land of Canaan, where we came down, where we fell from the heavens. And that's where Canaan exists, including Sirius. But prior to that, Sirius didn't exist. Hello.
Oh, sorry. Hello. I'm really struggling here, guys. Honestly, I'm literally hearing half of the conversation, so I can't say anything. It is an absolute nightmare. I mean, I think, have we lost Neil? I think maybe what we could do is because the signal's so bad, we might have to just do this again. Because honestly, I'm being the worst host
You know
because I just
what,
can't hear half of it.
Kelly? Most people are up their arse with teaching. They are. They have not got a clue.
Well, I would like to call
Genesis
myself
1,
a teacher. I don't.
Genesis. I'm
But I
not a
suppose
teacher either. I don't know anything, but I read the
No.
scriptures, right? Genesis
Yes.
1:14 tells us, "You shall set the signs, and they shall be signs and seasons for you, and you shall understand the heavens." Everybody else is not understanding the heavens. The first point of creation is the North Celestial Pole. Everything after that
Yeah.
is the lower world and
Yeah.
descent. And
Yeah.
come to any conclusion. You can come to every conclusion because the mathematics will work. This is what I'm trying to say. The mathematics
Yeah.
comes from Polaris. So your Saturn theory and all the rest of it will fit. But the reality is the cube is Polaris.
Yeah.
Everything
Oh,
is Polaris. Everything that they have screwed us over with to deceive us is the truth. Everything they've made us fear is the truth. The cube
Yeah.
is the centre of creation. And it sits right over Aberdeenshire.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, I
And
mean, it's like I say, it's such there's so much information in it. We've barely scratched the surface. The one thing that I do know is, like I've always said, the journey of the spirit is the journey of the law, and the journey of the law is the journey of the spirit, because they revealed themselves. And then it wasn't until I did start to look at the heavens and to understand that, I met Larry, and Larry gave me his book, and it all just started to piece together,
that's the point I'm trying to say
and
with
Neil's
Larry.
work as well. Yeah,
This is what I'm trying to say with Larry. Why is the whole of Eastern England, why is England all mapped out, but Scotland doesn't have anything?
yeah,
Why?
yeah, exactly.
Because,
Yeah,
well, this is the point I'm trying to say. The whole world are chasing the 12 houses, yeah?
yeah,
And they're chasing below the 12 houses, the lower realm, materialism, the Argus Navi, which moves around the heavens. There are three
yeah.
heavens. There are one circle, which is the Argus Navi, which is your citizen.
Yeah. Well,
And there's another point. Let me just, and that's the central belt with Orion.
yes.
Everybody's London's set up like Orion, and the whole world's chasing that system.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
system.
Well, and I know, Stephen, I
But
mean,
there's another system
you spoke,
which people aren't looking at.
well, and if people follow your posts, I mean, I know you did an amazing post recently, about Jesus being the slave ship itself. Like, I know
It's the Argus Navi.
that was an amazing post.
People are
The
not
Jesus,
getting.
yeah, exactly. And what did Jesus stand for? The Jesus.
Oh, I can't remember.
It stood for something, didn't it?
Yeah, I can't remember. But it was part of the legal
Yeah.
system they brought in America. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember. It was a very interesting post.
But
I mean,
that whole
honestly,
the black lives and Jesus is black and all that kind of stuff. It's all control.
yeah.
You know,
I fell for that for a while. I studied that rabbit hole. I fell for that for a while. I'll admit that.
but the word
Absolutely.
albino means white.
Albo, yeah, meaning white,
But
Albion,
the
yeah.
reason why it's albino is because it's the Albania, the gods, the Alba, the Baal,
Yeah,
the Alba who fell.
right.
And that's what we need to
Oh, okay,
realize.
so
Gods who fell, the white ones, the deities, the white, the ennoble ones, the white ones, the luminescence
yeah,
ones, the shining ones. It was the shining ones who fell, not the black people. The black people were actually, this is another. They were actually
yeah.
they were the golem. They were the slaves. The gods
The
actually,
golem,
yeah, they were the golem. The black people were the golem, the first man. And
like the
so we were
Adamus
the
or
gods, the white Aryans, Arya gods. We were the gods,
yeah,
became flesh.
right, yeah,
And we create the Anunnaki story. The whole Anunnaki is the sons of Anu. When you read the Enuma Elish, we actually did create a subhuman species, and that's the black people today.
yeah,
And no disrespect to any black person, because a physical body is nothing. Your body and your spirit are two separate entities. The spirit belongs to God. The body belongs to Yud He Vav He. So it doesn't matter whether you're black or white. That's the point. Your spirit is the eternal being. The body was created by the Yud He Vav He.
yeah,
In Genesis
yeah.
chapter 2,
And
you have another creation story where the Yud He Vav He, a new God, traps us in a vessel. And
yeah,
that's what we're living with now. We're actually the trapped being inside the vessel. But who is Yud He Vav He? Zeus,
good question.
Jupiter.
Zeus, yeah.
Why?
Jupiter, I mean, that's
Yeah, why
the debt
is
that Rome collects, the
why
stone,
is
Jupiter, the
why
stone
am I
of
why
Rome.
am I saying that? Why am I saying that we are trapped in this physical body, not created by God? We're not even born yet, Callie. Callie, the New Testament tells us that you were given an imperishable body. that you're an eternal being and your body's corrupt? How can God give you a corrupt body? There's something fucked up there. How did God give you a corrupt body? Because God didn't give you the body. You'd have trapped the spirit in this tree in the body. And you'd have is the God of this world who everybody worships.
I know. What's that about?
You're the spirit. You're God. You are God. You are the Elohim. Elohim is plural. Elohai means my God. Elohim means plural.
And I think
where
somebody
did the
just
God
told
come
us,
from? The North.
The North Celestial Pole.
Come from the
tree.
Not
Top
the
of
12
tree.
houses. That's another God. As soon as you step into the 12 houses, you're down into the middle world. Lord of the Rings, Middle Earth.
Middle Earth, joint, Stephen, Apex Purity gave us it. Joint Enterprise Slave Unionship. Jesus.
Yes, and that's Joint Enterprise Slave Unionship. But it's the Argus Navi. If you look at that video that I put on, the guy says he's sitting there in white, all dressed in white. It just came to me. No, it never just came to you. It was given to you by the corporation to say this, to say that. You know,
no,
the truth is,
I mean,
the American slavery, as we understand it, did not happen. Did not happen. It's a lie. The American slavery and all that, it did not happen as we understand it. The Irish people were actually the black people who they took away. They were the Ethiopians, and it's all written in the stars.
Right, now that's interesting. Okay, so because I've kind of been quite confused about that. I've been confused about that because I think 2 generations back, I'm Black Irish. So it only takes a couple of generations to fuck black out. I don't mean that to sound like not very
See, if
nice.
you went to America
But I don't know.
If you went to America,
that was that. Yeah.
It would see a sign that said no blacks, no Irish.
Yes, of course, yeah.
Why were they connected together? Because the blacks were the original Ethiopians. They have transferred
So
everything. The blacks were the descendants of Ham. Noah grew up in Aberdeenshire in the north of Scotland. The flood happened, and then the land of Canaan appeared, central Scotland. He went from central Scotland, and the Tuath Danann went from central Scotland, from Scotland, went down to Ireland. And at the same time, Noah went down into Ireland. And Noah, Heber, son of Heber, gave story to. They've deceived us with everything. It all happened here. All of it happened here.
Yeah. I mean, there's a guy in the chat called Jimmy Graham, and I've asked him to email me. I mean, he's got some amazing comments. I mean, obviously extremely well studied. I mean, I just find it fascinating, and I am less than a baby at this stuff, you know. I mean, I get the principles, I get it, I get the whole thing, I get the legal system. I feel it, like I say, more than anything, and you know, it's just mind blowing, isn't it? Really, it's absolutely mad. But it's I feel it, man.
Callie, this is the thing as well, right? Like I could just be punching at the wind here, right? I could be punching at the air. This is what I think. This is what I feel, but it's not, because my journey began with the legal system. I was at war with the legal
me
system,
too.
and I had to find out how I destroyed this legal system. And then I realized that it's all written in the heavens. And I've stood in court 40 times. They threw me out of court because I don't take the name.
I know.
So they won't bring me up to court now, because everything I know, everything that exists, everything that we see on our screens to do what I understand what's in the heavens. The three levels of the heavens, which is in the Matrix movie, the Trinity. The three levels. It's in everything. It's not just in everything. See the news that we read every day. It's all about the three levels of the bar.
Yeah,
Everything.
yeah, sure. There's the stories of consciousness, isn't it? Row, row, row your boat
Conscious,
merrily down the
spot
stream.
on. It's
Life is
conscious.
but a dream.
It's
Yeah,
consciousness. There are three virgins in the
exactly.
Celtic faith, the three bridges that carry you through. And Ireland, the north of Ireland, used to be called the Briganti tribe. Tynecastle used to be called the Briganti tribe. And the very north of Scotland used to be called the Brigus. Three bridges.
Right, okay.
Three bridges through the heavens. And it's still the same under the law. There are three bridges you've got to get over. And the word bridge means pappus, actually. Is it pappus? Bridge. Pontiff. The word pontiff means bridge. And this all ties to Diana, Princess Diana being
Yes,
slaughtered on the 13th
right.
pillar in the
Yeah.
tunnel of the Alma. The Alma means the tunnel of the Virgin. We're talking about the three virgins. So
Ah,
Diana,
so and she died in the tunnel.
the goddess of the hunt, was in a Mercedes with the three, the star with the three symbol.
Yeah.
Hits the
Oh God, yeah.
That's the 13th pillar. There's 12 houses. 13th is not.
It just makes so much sense. As fucking out there as it is, because it's not out there because I just get it. But the more you hear it, you're just like, oh my God, oh my God. It's like
Our
pennies just keep
ascension,
dropping, don't they?
about our ascension through the Taurus field. The Taurus is the bull. David,
Yeah,
our partner at the time, represent Islam, the moon. Islam, the bull. Taurus. Diana, goddess of the hunt. Orion's belt. Taurus. You've got to go through the Taurus field there. You've got to sacrifice Diana in order to get through the Taurus field, in order to arrive in Aries, in order to rise up into Cygnus' Swan,
yeah,
into the Iron Throne of
yeah,
Osiris.
yeah. I mean, yeah. It's a lot, isn't it? But it's kind of beautiful. And I mean, how many people do you think, Stephen? Like, what was interesting what you said earlier about the immigration, and that's a way I've never kind of looked at it before,
Beautiful.
and that
Bring them
people are
all
kind
in
of
from
being
home.
all, but they're being drawn back to this land, because of the North Celestial Pole and because the houses have dropped and da, da,
Why are
da,
they
da,
coming
da.
here?
But like, what if they, if they, what if because they lack the awareness of that system, and they lack the, how many people literally, apart from me, I mean, obviously other people have, well, I'm not being arrogant, and the people on the live, how many people actually can get a grasp of this knowledge? Like, these people that are coming over, no,
Kelly,
no offense, as
Kelly,
immigrants, they
most,
haven't
most
got a clue,
people,
have they?
most people who are immigrants, right? I've
Mm,
spent a lot of time abroad with people in foreign countries. Most people who are immigrants think this is the land. This is Disneyland, right? You can come here
yeah,
and
yeah. Well, it is like Neil says, it's the Vaticanized Disney nonsense, isn't it?
why is this
Yeah,
Disneyland? Why can, of all the countries in the, what do you have to pay for your medical in America? Why do you have to pay for
yeah,
your medical in Canada? Why is it in Scotland you get free prescriptions? Why is it in Scotland you get free medical and dental care? Why is it in
yeah.
Scotland you get free health care? We don't get free haircuts yet, but but you get everything
Yeah.
free in Britain. Why? Because the jurisdiction of the law sits within the bar, and the bar is you are the heir, the rabbit, the heir, the hare. So they steal our inheritance. And that's why everybody comes here. There's nowhere else in the world where you have the Ben stone, the inheritance. The
Yeah.
Ben stone, Big Ben means you are the one, Neil. Big Ben.
Yeah,
Ben.
yeah.
The phoenix sits under the Argus Navi. It's an asterism. And the phoenix is the Ben stone. And the phoenix is the realization that you are the one, Neil. You are the
Yeah.
Neil. And the minute you realize that, you let go of the system and everything, and you move into the 12 houses. The 12 houses no
Yeah.
longer rule over you, they become your domain. In my father's house, there are many rooms. I go there to prepare a place for you. We
Yeah.
rule over 12 houses, where everybody's living on the 12 houses in the lower material realm. But the upper world is the
Yeah.
upper room. Go to the upper room. There I will meet you, and I will eat with you. When? When you see a man with a water pitcher. Aquarius. So
I know. I must have got quite emotional. It was like it's extremely emotional.
well, it should be
It's very, very
emotional.
emotional stuff.
It
Like,
should be emotional
mm.
because everything else means nothing. See, everything means nothing. It means nothing. The Father's speaking intimately to each one of us right now, and he's saying, go in yourself. Go to the upper room. But the amazing thing is that the upper room has actually been mapped on standing stones throughout the UK.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Like I
beautiful.
say, it's like it is beautiful. I'm actually crying, which is like a really odd thing for me to do. Like I've been so emotional recently the last few days, and I know I was just reading the comments, and then there's a lady,
You know
Sovereign
what?
Jane, who you know,
Oh, she's a good
it's
follower of
emotional
mine.
shit. It's like there's something, yeah. There's such heavy energy at the moment, and it's just
You know what the
it's such a
Bible
beautiful
says,
thing.
Callie?
Oh, is she?
You know what the
I
Bible
think she
says?
wanted to ask a question. Yes, go on.
You know what the Bible says? I need to say this.
I
You know
think I
what
feel
the
like I'm
Bible
gonna
says?
cry. What a day.
You know what the you know
Can I
what
just
the
have a
Almighty
cry and a
Source?
beer? I'm off.
You know what the Creator says? Be still
Yeah.
and know that I be still and know that I am. Polaris never moves.
Yeah.
We're chasing everything. The 12 houses, Mercury rising, Jupiter rising, retrograde, blah, 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 blah. Stop chasing it all. There's one place that never moves, the throne of heaven. The material world, blah, 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 it'll throw you everywhere. You know, chase this star, chase that, chase that. That's the lower realm, the Argus Navi. See the middle realm? That's the realm that we're all in. We have to live with that because you're born in a house. You're Virgo, Leo, Capricorn, Gemini. You're born in a house. You need to live with that shit. You're born in it. But you know what the Almighty
Yeah.
created? Be still. Be still. What does he mean by that? Look up. The pole star. What does it do? Nothing. It's still. It just sits there. There's the throne of God. If you want to know who you are, follow that. Follow the throne of heaven. That which never moves.
Yeah.
The seven houses, if somebody's interpreting the seven houses and where you should be and this and that, they're speaking of demons. It's demons. If somebody's telling you, you've got to buy this, you've got to buy that, you've got to buy that. Oh, the iPhone 16, 17. Oh, you've got to have demons. Be still and know that I
Yeah.
am. I am. Who is I am? You. Right in the center of heaven. You came from there and we come back there. There's nothing comes out of this world. Everything of this world comes from the very center of heaven. Everything. The Bible, the Veda text, all of it. Buddhism, all of it comes from the center of heaven. The throne of God.
Yeah.
Which,
Yeah. No, and I absolutely feel that. And it's like what I said before. I can study this stuff and I can see it. And but it's like you're saying about the coding. There's something that gets activated in us, and that's where I'm at. And I give up all the other stuff. And it's about letting go and being silent in that moment and knowing that true, not knowledge, but just that, I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it. It's beyond, I mean,
it's hard
you
to
know,
go.
yeah, it's
It's
beyond that
hard to
kind
go
of,
because there's
yeah,
truth in everything. There's truth
yes,
in everywhere.
exactly.
That's why it's hard letting go. But unless we actually focus on be still, what is still?
Yeah.
The Polaris.
Of
And
course,
everything
yeah,
comes
because
from Polaris.
all that, it's like what you say, all that faux spirituality, and it's like, oh, meditate, but there is a truth in it. To be still, to look up, to know, yeah, it's perfect. It
You
really is
don't need to do
divine, isn't it?
anything. You don't need to do anything.
Exactly.
You
Brilliant.
just
That's my style.
you, you just are. We don't need to study
I
these things
know.
either. We
Well,
just look up.
I think we kind of do, don't we, in a way, because
in a way, like all those rabbit holes all my life over 20 odd years, everything that's led me to this moment is like it's a backdrop. That's all that it is to that real knowing of like self, know thyself, Elven,
Know
Dravadan,
thyself.
stars, cubes.
Elven.
Yeah, it's fucking it's
And the word
absolutely mine.
L means LV, L God, V means 5, the 5 planets. Know thyself, L.
Can you exactly know that exactly? I hope I can listen to this back because honestly, guys, I've only had half of this. I've done my
The
best to
5
kind of
planets
it's
are
been
that
so
which
intermittent,
rebel.
but
The 5
and I
planets
think
are
you
that
know,
which rebel.
yeah,
The whole
yeah,
point
and
of the story is that we don't rebel. Orion is the rebel in the heavens. And we need to recognize that we are Orion. And we need to go through the Taurus field and
the
go with the
Taurus field,
flow.
yeah,
Go with the
yeah,
flow.
go. Oh
Why is
my God,
Taurus
I was having another experience. Does everyone remember that song "Go with the Flow" by Queens of the Stone Age? Maybe you don't, but I've been playing it all the time recently. Oh my God, I'm blowing me on it.
Yeah, we need to just like
Yeah,
everything's
and
easy.
I am sorry because honestly, genuinely, I'll hear you speak and then it drops, and I have to pick it up and just kind of try and work out what it is has been being said. So, um, on that note, we'll probably go because I'd love to do this again. I think maybe in Neil went. I think that there is maybe it was a Clash of the Titans, and I think there was too much to kind of put you two together maybe in one place like that. Like so, maybe that was my naivety, everybody. But just wanted to kind of get that crossover and that reference
Entertainment.
and but yeah, so it's just
Yeah,
maybe the
thank you.
feminine in me is going, let's all get together. But it's Neil's research is so amazing
We
and
do
it's so
need to
valid
get
and I
together.
absolutely love it to death. And I want to say that. But also, Stephen, of course, it absolutely blows my mind. I think we
We
do,
do need
and
to
I think it would be
at the same
great to have
time.
like a conference, like a true spiritual conference. Yeah.
Well, we need to do.
Well, maybe. I think the thing is we're all trying to, as my nana used to say, and I'll hopefully finish on this point, we're all trying to get to the same place on a different buzz, but certainly that what's being revealed by Stephen and Neil and other great minds, Larry, all these people that are doing all this amazing stuff, like, honestly, I'm just ever humbled to just to bring it to my very small audience. But yeah,
We need to deal with this legal system, and we
yeah,
can.
it's been amazing, honestly.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, we'll definitely do
Thank you,
another one if
Charlie.
you're up for it, Stephen. When I haven't got a gale force 80-mile-an-hour wind. Honestly,
I know
I
when I
literally
see your
had to
face.
leave the house and try and find internet. My mother, we were going through broken trees on roads. Honestly, it's been absolutely wild down here.
Oh well,
And I still
never
can't
mind.
hear either.
Right,
Sorry, everybody. Oh.
we'll see you later then.
Stephen, thank you so much. Thank you to Neil, and thank you everybody for tuning in. As intermittent and crazy as it's all been there, but yeah, we Rob Cook, like this is probably a good one to finish on. Rob, we can get back there, but we've got to go to those higher realms. We've got to go in that in terms of frequency, in terms of the law, and we've got to kind of when tell others. It says in scripture, doesn't it, Stephen? When tell others, and that's all we can
Yeah,
do.
that's it. That's all we can do. Okay, right.
Oh, are you
Cover you
there?
soon. Keep shining. Stay sovereign. Don't forget to look up.
Look up. Thank you so much, Stephen. Thank you, Neil, and thank you everyone for
Thank you,
watching.
Neil.
Much love to you all.
Much love.
Thank you.
Bye
Good night.
now.
God bless.